And we are live. And
Oh.
LInh was making a very funny face 1.5 seconds ago. And I said, we're about ready to go live. And I shouldn't have told her because you all would have got a treat.
Oh, it was this face.
Anywho, welcome everybody to our preview of our, I'm going to give a teaser here, our wonderful July 4th Independence Day bottling. This is a lottery release bottling. And I might as well put the banner up because everybody got the email already anyway. Excuse me.
Oh, that.
Yeah. Well, that's going. We'll give that a few minutes. Let's see who all it is. If we have anybody tuning in, I see Jimmy Jazz and Duke McHale are already commenting.
Oh.
And
Howdy ho.
Duke is always here. Jimmy always here. California Scotty is here.
Hello, hello.
We do have just the one bottle tonight. This is a preview of the bottle. And matter of fact, I need to put a quick link in down in the description. LInh, you can fill the dead air here for a second. Let me.
Sure thing. Okay, so we're reviewing lottery bottle number 36.212 Sunshine on Leith. This is a 16-year that's aged for 12 years in an ex-bourbon cask and 4 years in a first fill bodega barrique cask, and it's 53.4% ABV. There's 90 available in the U.S. and also What?
No, there's more than 90.
Really?
This is a U.S. exclusive.
Oh, just kidding. I lied, everybody.
Where'd you see that at?
I thought I saw it in the back page.
If it is, then it's wrong. It's a U.S. exclusive. It should be 162 bottles available.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that.
I just happened to hear that out of the corner. I was like, 90 bottles. I was like, oh no, there's more than that. Give me a minute here. I'm going to post a link down in the description for everybody that's watching. If you want to register for this, now you do have to be a Scotch Malt Whiskey Society member to register. You're entering a lottery, as we call it, giving you a chance to buy this bottle. We do this with bottles where we have an expectation or a sense there's going to be a lot of demand for these certain bottles. So we do the lottery, and then we do 400 people put in, and we do a random draw for, those that get a chance to buy the bottle.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And this is under the deep, rich, and dried fruits. Also, as Scott has famously coined them, dirtif.
That's right.
Doesn't Scott have a cool voice? He sounds like he should comment like sports. Be a sports commentator. That would be exciting to watch. California Scotty knows more about the product than me. He's gonna take my job. Scotty, where are you in California? San Jose.
There we go. Updated. So down below in the description for the video, you should see a link now to enter the lottery. And then also there's a link for more information on the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society if you're watching, how to join and become a member.
Mm-hmm.
So did you look that up to see 36212? It does say 90 bottles on the website. That's not right though. Let me look and see.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 162 bottles. So the U.S. exclusive part is correct, of course, for this Independence Day bottling.
Okay, I'll put this in my notes for tomorrow.
And so let's, since I was busy, color on this whiskey. I have previewed it. I know, Lynn, you've already taken some notes.
Mhm.
I quit taking notes. I find they just get in the way.
You're just a natural.
I just wing it.
You do it well. Because, like, I tried winging it once and I barely spoke. And I felt like a kid, like in a brand new school the first day, but specifically 6 years old was, yeah. So,
Being in front of the camera, it does take a little bit to get used to and just get, be a natural at it.
yeah.
You get good.
Yeah. You just got a face for TV and a voice for radio, and it's just awesome. Look at that. That swagger, that neck move was like so cool. It was so James Bond.
Yeah, and then you just, you wing it and you go from there and you hope for the best.
All right. Look, no, I'm just kidding. Okay.
So years ago, let's say when I first got into sherry casks, I thought I was an Oloroso man. I thought, man, I love Oloroso. And then I happened upon one of the best Pedro Jimenez whiskeys I'd ever had. It was a distillery only release from Tomatin. Turned me on to Pedro Jimenez. A lot of our casks, both Oloroso and Pedro Jimenez, are just outstanding. This one falls in the outstanding category, I would say, early on. Teaser alert.
Yes.
The nose is dry. I mean, this is a dry, spicy Pedro Jimenez. It's dark.
It's so weird. On one side of my nostril, I pick up like a bundt cake, like some type of brown sugar glazed bundt cake, and on the other side it has the aroma of cherry cough syrup.
Yeah. Caramel, burnt. It's kind of like a burnt caramel, burnt toffee. I always get with some. So that the Tomatin that I referenced, that was a distillery only release.
Mm-hmm.
It had this coffee kind of espresso, dark toffee, dark caramel, nose. When I opened up this bottle, I could smell it, and it immediately reminded me of that. And I was like, and I hadn't looked, I didn't know, but I was like, oh, that's Pedro Jimenez. I could smell it. And so when I looked it up, I was like, oh, got that one. But this one is that dark, burnt toffees, those caramels, that coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like sticky toffee pudding.
It's, to me, I mean, it doesn't bring, it's not kind of that molasses syrupy sweet PX we get sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Get a little bit of pecans, but to me, it's a little bit drier. Like some PX casks I've tried in the past tend to be juicy, like those Luxardo cherries. In this case, it's not.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Nose almost kind of more Oloroso indicative just because it's drier and spicier.
Mm-hmm.
But you get that darkness to it.
Yeah.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
One of my friends says that to me because I'm moody. And it's because I'm a woman, which is my excuse. But it's just me. I know some non-emotional ladies. Anyway, okay. We sipping this?
Yep, let's do it. My mouth is watering.
Mm-hmm. It definitely has that dry side, like a very cold brew coffee, like super dark chocolate, like 92% dark chocolate.
Yeah, bitter dark chocolate, kind of a dry oak, spicy caramels. It's earthy almost.
Yes. Yeah.
Very almost like humid and damp, like you were in a warehouse where the humidity was just out of whiskey barrels, where the humidity was just out of control. It was so thick in there, the air.
Yes. So
But yeah, not missing. I mean, maybe it just doesn't reveal itself so much, that kind of syrupy sweetness that we find with PX. This is, to me, this is on that drier. This is that coffee, toffee, caramel, espresso, dark chocolate kind of PX notes.
yes, and I do wonder because barrique casks sometimes comes or usually comes from Bordeaux wine, so maybe you get a little bit of that dryness coming into play. But yeah, I got a little bit of a mole thing going on where there's like a subtle meatiness to it, not smoky, but just like a chocolate meatiness in the aftertaste.
Yeah, I like that mole. Mm-hmm. Cool. This one's beautiful. I really like this one.
Yeah,
Especially neat.
This one's like my older sister. She'll slap me around because she's an alpha female.
Yeah.
You're like, too much information about your family dynamics, LInh.
Wow. 53.4%. It actually feels, well, I was going to say it feels hotter than that, but I don't think so. I really think that's where I like a lot of my whiskeys, is in that 50 to 55% ABV range.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, neat. I just got really some of those walnuts or pecans that you talked about earlier, almost like kind of like a pecan pie, a smoked pecan pie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With some plums.
Yes. Very dark plums. And then the peppery notes just kind of linger from beginning to end too. There's a dryness happening.
Jen is joining us, but she signed in on her wrong account. Jen is within leadership.
Oh, all right. Oh, I agree. It would taste
good with a cigar. Oh, there we
go.
She fixed it.
Well, what kind of cigar would you pair it with? Like a Maduro or something lighter?
Oh, no, dark. Yeah, Maduro, dark wrappers. That's about all I smoke. That's what I like. Got me some Liga Privadas to take we're going on vacation, going to Colorado.
Yeah. And they have a blast.
But I love a good, cask strength, either heavy sherried or heavy peated, or both. A good sherried peated Scotch with a cigar.
Yes. Yes.
I like something higher ABV and something with more punch on the palate, so that I can taste it along with the cigar.
Yes. Especially when it's dark, and then that dark leaf Maduro, it actually pairs well, like the deep chocolate profile from the leaves really helps. Yeah, it's compatible. Just like you and Jen, a power couple.
Speaking of chocolate, I just got a lot of chocolate on this.
Oh yeah. Okay, we're adding water.
I had my first round of water here, first dropper.
Okay.
It was 99 degrees here today, so Mamuka says Colorado sounds good. Yes, it does.
Is it hot in Kansas right now?
It was 99 degrees today. Yeah.
Oh.
So, where we're going, 70s in the daytime, 40s and 50s at night. Oh. Yeah, baby.
Nice.
Cigars, whiskey, wine, and campfires.
That's awesome.
Jen's from Florida, so she's got to take her winter coat. All right, with water.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Mm.
A little bit of now we're getting to 85% chocolate.
Mm.
Almost like a stout beer. It gets creamier. It's not as spicy, but there is like a top note of acidity that I'm experiencing. It's layered and textured. Like the core has that chocolate tone, and then there's I don't know if you picked that up.
Yeah, I'm torn because I loved it neat. I do love it with this first drop of water. It's smoother, it's creamier. All of those notes are still there. All those the dark toffee or burnt toffee and caramels, the chocolates, the oak, the spiciness. It's just glorious.
Yeah.
I love the finish on this whiskey. And I think this is the third or fourth whiskey that reminds me, that has that kind of different Pedro Jimenez structure. This kind of, drier, darker, not molasses syrupy sweet type sweetness.
Yes, definitely different from Umami Mania, I think. Yeah.
See, I haven't done I do have that one. I've sampled it. I haven't really done a deep dive with it yet. That was a 17 year, 42.85. So, and this one's 16 years. So, but this one, so we haven't really talked about this. Was 12 years ex bourbon hogshead, and then 4 years first fill, ex bodega Pedro Jimenez barrique.
Yeah.
It feels much heavier than that. Almost exclusive maturation, or a lot longer than 4 years. Ex Pedro Jimenez. This was a very active cask.
Yeah, just like a lot of the other sherry casks that I've tried with SMWS since coming on board, it seems like just a few years it just takes over, which the casks seem to be quite active.
Yeah, some, yeah, some are, and but then you'll see like the second fill ones, yes and no.
True.
What you're going to get there, and some of those are nice though because you can just start to get some of those notes. This one I'm going to put into the sherry bomb category. It's so heavy. It's such a heavy 4-year influence here. And I say active cask. Some people might say wet. It was wet or active, but yeah.
Yeah. And Apollo just mentioned chocolate, meaty, dry coffee, spicy, plum, smoke, stout beer, acidic, dark coffee, sans Umami Mania. But yeah, like for me personally, I think that Umami Mania had more of a juicier sweetness, and this is on that drier profile.
And Robbie Robson is asking, how does it compare to Two Middle Fingers of Scotch? If you remember that. Two Middle Fingers of Scotch was a 10-year. It was exclusive maturation. I remember that was a sherry bomb as well. This one, 16 years, so a little bit more age showing. I want to say though that Two Middle Fingers of Scotch was Oloroso. Let me look it up and see. I mean, it's kind of similar but different. I hate to say that. Let me see.
Two Middle Fingers of Scotch.
Fact is, one of the other best Pedro Jimenez finished whiskeys I had was one of ours, SMWS's. I think from 2018. It was from Two Middle Fingers of Scotch was Distillery 63. One of the other best Pedro Jimenez matured whiskeys I had was from Distillery 63 as well. But okay, so Two Middle Fingers of Scotch. 10 years. Yeah. First fill, Spanish oak, Oloroso. Exclusive. Really, it's this one's a different profile. It's different taste, but similar sherry. 10 years of exclusive sherry compared to 16 years with 4 years of very active Pedro Jimenez. I mean, that's a tough comparison, but yeah, if I had a bottle of both in front of me, I would probably take this over the two middle fingers of Scotch.
How long ago?
That was a lot of blabbering right there to try to answer that question.
No.
And Duke is asking if it's astringent. It's on the low scale of it. There's a little bit of an astringency, which is what we talked about at first. Where Oloroso usually brings that dry spiciness. This one has a little bit of a dry spiciness as well, but it's just too much of that dark. Again, the dark toffee and the dark coffee and the chocolate and those that Oloroso doesn't have.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes when I hear the word astringent, I interpret it with like something earthy or like a bitter melon profile. This one, it again picks up more of that 92% dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, for me, astringency, you'll literally, like, your mouth, does it leave your mouth dry? I mean, do you feel like you ate a saltine cracker? Which usually the oak influence or a lot of the oak tannins will impart, astringency to me. So it's kind of like it's either over oak, too much oak, or even that Oloroso sometimes is kind of drying. But our spicy, and we have that, one of our 12 flavor profiles is spicy and dry. That one sometimes, gets pretty astringent. And a lot of those though too are not a lot. Some are Oloroso finished.
Yeah.
And they end up in that spicy and dry.
And to answer Mamuka's question, I don't pick up sulfur here. I think the dryness reminds me of that one of the Women's Day release. It was a 35 dot something something. If that helps. And it was like in an Oloroso and PX cask. Women's Day.
That was was that a 20? That was a 20 year or a 22 year or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Let's put a little bit more. Do 2 rounds of water here.
All right.
Bring it down a little bit more. This one is really this is a fabulous whiskey. It really is. Up there on my list. This would be a whiskey of the year candidate, I think. Yeah. I mean, keep in mind though too, I haven't tried everything that we've released. So I've tried I've had a good sampling of whiskeys we've released, but this one reminds me of why I like Pedro Jimenez.
Yeah.
Whiskey RX is asking, what are your thoughts on shipping during these hot summer days? Any effect on the whiskey? We ship all the time. Hundreds of shipments. I don't think there's any concern as long as you don't leave it, in the sun, which I don't think you'd have to worry about in the sun or the heat. I did have a bottle one time that was delivered to me and it was left in my mail, not in my mailbox, but like it was an outside box, a bigger delivery cube box. And I didn't know it was there. And it sat for 3 or 4 or 5 days in the summer heat. And yeah, it affected that one. That bottle was shot.
Oh.
But even for our tasting, this bottle was delivered the other day, 90-some degree weather. There's a lot of variables, of course, too. How hot, how long does it sit in the FedEx truck, and even if it's a day, I don't know that there's an issue. Now, extremely hot, and a lot of stories out there, people accidentally leaving bottles in their cars, in the summer with the windows rolled up where it gets 120, 130 degrees inside the car. And the cork pops out. The bottle basically explodes almost.
Oh, that's happened to me before.
Oh, really? See?
And I'll be driving and I'm like, that's not air freshener. It's something else. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I order stuff in the summer all the time, and our shipments go, we get it. But I mean, like I say, there's just some variables. Don't miss your shipment. Don't leave it sitting in anything where it's going to be exposed to heat.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 99% of the time you're fine.
Yeah.
Two rounds of water, and I mean, it's still delicious. It's still gorgeous. I did like it higher, neat, or with 1 round of water, better, but it's still good here. And all those dark notes are showing still.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think it gets just a tad bit sweeter, but not crazy sweet. So it shifts from like dark prunes to maybe a little bit of dates here.
I almost think maybe more like the cherries are showing more.
Yeah.
A sweeter cherry type. It's gone from the dark chocolates and toffees to, I mean, and they're still present. It's not I'm still don't necessarily get the molasses syrupy sweetness, but it's more like a Luxardo cherry syrup. Or the cherry, what's the cherry cordials, the chocolate, and it's got the cherry with all that rich syrup in the middle.
Oh, yeah. I just call them cherry bonbons, but I don't know their official name.
That could, yeah, cherry bonbons. Yeah, that could be what they are.
Yeah. But definitely it rounds out and it dries out on the finish for sure. And then it gets quite leathery for me.
Delicious. I'm going to bring my ABV back up here a little bit.
Okay. All right. My glass is empty. So I guess, by the way, I'm going to go to jiu-jitsu in a bit. So this is going to be interesting.
You're doing what?
Jiu-jitsu.
Oh.
There were no gals in my class last week. And then I had a spar with a Brazilian dude. And that turned out fun.
Yeah.
I have an upper body strength of a 6-year-old boy, so it's extremely challenging. Anyways,
there's some areas you can go for on guys, that are weak spots. All right, well, I think we can wrap this one up. I'm going to enjoy this one, and it's going to Colorado with me as well. So I already left a spot in my whiskey box for this one.
All right. I'm going to miss you tomorrow, and I hope you and Jen have an amazing time.
I'm sure we will. I was going to look real quick. So this is open. You can register for this one. I put the link down in the description until you have to enter by Monday, June 17th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then the winning names will be drawn at that time. So there's 162 bottles of this, and we'll probably have at least 400 to 500 people put in for it. If you don't get that email right away, hang in there, because we give everybody 48 hours to purchase. There's always a handful of people that end up not buying it. And so we go down the list and notify the next people. So just because you don't get notified right away doesn't mean you're not going to get a chance. One day or 2 days later, you may get an email saying you got a chance to purchase it. So
yeah,
hang in there.
All right.
And it doesn't hurt as well. 4 or 5 days, a week later, call in and ask if there's any left over, because sometimes too, we have 4 or 5 left over that didn't get, people didn't purchase, and like, yep, it's available. So give us a call and we'll let you know.
Yes.
LInh, thank you for joining me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Captain America. You're amazing as usual. Why are you laughing? It's the truth.
Well, if you're in jiu-jitsu, then you're Black Widow. So
no, again, totally useless in that class.
All right, and thanks to everybody that tuned in. Remember, Scotch malt whiskey societies are not for swigging, glugging, or knocking back. Please drink responsibly. Cheers.
Oh, cheers. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.